Welcome and welcome again to the most important 90 minutes of your life. Sports Panorama. We are live. Benjamin Iketia here. You know, just last week, we put the spotlight on the Black Stars head coaching job. And guess what? Not too long after that, Chris Hughton was announced as head coach of the Black Stars. We don't have the particulars though. We need that. We'll be discussing that on the show today. Also, Arsenal Football Club, 1 point out of 9. Who is to blame? What has gone wrong with the Ghana's title charge? Has anything even gone wrong? And then, of course, yesterday, two of our brothers who have fallen were playing in the Europa League. They were making themselves happy. They were making it look like they were involved in some big game. It was nice. We'll see if they have a few things to say about it. Coach is happy. He says that they are coming to take over the team and something. We'll see. United, Qatar is on the horizon. And then, of course, there's Premier League action this weekend. Show proudly brought to us by Betway. And it's all about the Athena Kessie jackpot with Betway. 16.5 million Ghana cedis, no be small money, Charlie. All you need to do, pick 17 with only 1 cedi 50 pesos, and you could win 16.5 million. You heard that right. You can also play the item 13 jackpot with just 1 cedi to win 270,000 Ghana cedis. Or you can play the tap-in jackpot with only 50 pesos to win 5,000 cedis. Where your jackpots mohene into diwohene. Deposit via Betway top up at any Momo vendor near you. Top up is free of any charges. For more details, please get to betway.com.gh. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Betway for the love of the game. Nathan Kwao is here. Susu Graham is here. Evans Ofochumanso. Pichichi. Oh, Chale. And then, of course, Ni Aba.
Oh.
Ni Aba.
Chenugbe.
Oni.
Nungbe oto.
Oni.
Nungbe oto.
Oni.
Oh, nungbe oto numo. Numa jobo.
Oni.
Nuwa bale waba.
Ni Aba.
Yo awako bele mi achewo mancheyeli aba.
Amen.
Mene sowa ni masowa na masowa. Nuwa bale waba.
Na bale.
Wala Ghana ma mu fe klalo. Amembo wotoye. Mene wa afen ogbe ami eko. The friend any be share program na efia ewo. Gbele oda no gbele ona ni wo che mo fia mo na meka wo ya ka shi na no me no ko wa wi Black Stars ane
aba wi fen
ko chele ne ba
Chris
Hughton ne ba leba wo sole yo wa wole no jole gbele mo adwomo no gbele da na nye dwomoshi tumo mo fia mo ne saka efo emi yo wa kun na kamo efo chiye ko kunle Kule.
No dummy.
No jowo. How ake katabie bai. Egbe na momo. Yesu egbe na momo. Manche. Egbe na momo. Yesu egbe na momo. Manche. Egbe na momo. Against Bawo. Nathan Kwame pare shake me na chole. Tata manche mi jegbe shake me ni.
Ebo wo ba bote mi.
5 billion. It mo chicken change. I'm going to say no me cheche no me gba ona ifacho. Man you say yeah, what bena Yesu gba mi. Amen. Hey! Against Bawo.
Amen.
Ebwake. Tim be na ba ka show April ahon tim e. Nin Kenya bi ake. Eni me 9 feelers ke jo. No more igba. No Charlie.
Victor Osimhen.
Victor Osimhen.
Yes, marquee signing.
Okay, let's read
Get
know.
shit.
And you out there can text into the show 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Hey, coach. Charlie. Let's get into it. Let's get into talk of the Black Stars head coaching job. Just last week, Friday, it was our major topic here. We were alarmed at how close we were to our first competitive game in a long time without a head coach. Now, it's been brought to our attention that he's been officially named, but the terms of the engagement have been withheld. I say that is not acceptable. The FA, the ministry, they need to let us know exactly how much we are paying Chris Hughton. Now, I just want to say this because, look, we are in austere times in this country. And so you cannot hide under the cloak and say you don't want to spread negativity and these things are confidential. And so, no, you need to let us know how long Chris Hughton has been engaged for, how much we are paying him for, and probably the terms of engagement, his objectives, what you've told him to do, and what he's expected to achieve. Coach, let me give you the first touch on this. Last week we were here, we talked about it. Hughton has the job now. You've had over a week to digest it. You've had ex-players, you've had FA officials, you've had, Ghanaians at large talk about the decision. What sticks out to you the most about the appointment?
Getia, for me, anytime I've been given the opportunity to comment on this, there is an initial statement I really do want to make. And after making that statement, I want to give the young man the chance to prove how good a coach he is. My initial statement is simple. If I had my way, I wouldn't have given him the job.
You've always said this.
I've always said this. Simply because I think we've stuck to the same technical team that virtually embarrassed us at the Mundial. Because most of the games we played, something kept happening, game after game, and we never found an antidote.
What if the head coach was taking
there was
his
no
own decisions?
remedy? No, such things are to be blamed on the technical team because we're made to understand that they are working as a unit. When you start conceding goals and you concede game after game, with all the goals you concede within 2-3 minutes, 2-3 minutes, and we had all these guys there. There was Chris, there was Masawu Didi Dramani, there was George Boateng, and there was, of course, the trainer scout, Otuado. You understand? And I was asking myself, as a technical team, whenever they met to review the games we played, did they not see that defensively we had an issue? We have said that Chris Hughton's identity is more of a defensive-minded coach who will usually play on the counter-attack. No, wakalete katae. A $400,000 appearance fee. He was given that amount of money. And I find it very difficult that having given him that amount of money, the people will not listen to his country, looking at his experience. As if you look at those who form the technical team, it will be so unfair and naive on the part of Otuado, Masawu Didi Dramani, George Boateng, for them not to have chosen not to listen to Chris Hughton to solve the defensive problem that we had in our team. That is why if you tell me that we should completely exempt him from what transpired, and that cannot be the case. So he was part. So I've always said, if I had my way,
you would go completely outside this technical
team.
Noted.
But having said that, he's been given the job. Do I want him to succeed? Yes, I want him to succeed. So I'm ready to support him in every way I can. How I hope that he will see me as one person who can stand up to Keto Kleku and just add me to his backroom staff. That's the job I want to do.
You mean Chris Hughton's backroom staff?
No more.
What will you be doing specifically? What will you want to offer
I will
to
be
them?
boldly telling Ketu Kreku not to trespass when it comes to technical.
That will be your
That's
job.
my job. That is my job description. Coach Nimo is added because he can stand up to Ketu Kreku and his courts that they should never come as any attempting to influence player selection into national team. And it will be based on merit. If you are not playing top flight football regularly, you come nowhere closer to this national team.
Do you trust Chris Hughton to do this for us?
I'm afraid. Again, he was part of what's happening. I said there are certain things I can't say here, but I can emphatically say he sat there and Panorama played in that game against.
What could he have done?
This is some of the Chris Hughton could have said, no, Baba didn't.
How do you know? How do you know he didn't say?
Oh, no more.
No. See, hold on. I mean, in the end, Otto Addo has the final word. If Chris he's a technical advisor.
So if you are advising,
he can only advise,
and leave the job.
Only. I'm telling you today. No more. You were in Qatar. I was not there.
Yeah.
But you and I were not.
No, he was there. I was not there. That final game that Panorama played in, the one that Ketu Kreku and his people said Dr. Pambo should come and lie, that Gideon Mensah.
They didn't see it.
Oh, no more.
Didn't
somebody put up a write-up to that effect?
Somebody put up a write-up.
I don't want to mention the person because he's an element to me.
Hold on.
An infinitesimal element.
Hold on. Relax. When you are making your point, do not throw people into the mix. You can make your point without throwing people into the mix. I think that's unfair.
The point is that Dr. Pombo was asked to write a medical report that said that Gideon Mensah was not fit for that match. And he said, per his checks, per his examination, Gideon was fit. So the selection should go down to the technical team. Nobody should use him as an excuse for Gideon not playing in that match. That is the emphatic and truthful point that I'm making. You understand? And that point is what made everybody in the Black Stars who was in Qatar knows that what I'm saying is true. Somebody had to go and beg for putting out falsehood outside. Me, I will not do that. No more. He was there. And when you ask whether, do I think he cannot stand up? Me say, misro. No more. Me shake beye. Me beye she. Me shake beye. Me beye she. Because where we've gotten to, that is the fundamental thing we need to be able to succeed. To have a coach. You remember during the days of Giuseppe Gosena? Is that
Dosena, yeah.
There were times that he walked the then sports minister from the dressing room of the Black Stars. Come on, Jekbo. Like a technical man. He did it. And that is what I'm experiencing. Chris's ability to coach the team tactically, like mentally, psychologically, because I think he's seen it all. He's been at a big stage. I don't doubt that. But it starts from player selection. And our president is on record to have said a statement that he has never withdrawn. And me, I will keep hammering and repeating that statement until the day Ketu Kreku comes on radio and say, I said it, but now Ghanaians, from now onwards, I don't have anything to do with player selection.
I don't think if he wanted to take that route, I think if he wanted to take the route you are offering, he would have taken it a long time ago.
That's what I'm saying. That until he does that, I'm always of the view, 100% sure that he is not going to play the role of a psychologist, but he influences player selection into our Black Stars. That is my major problem. So Chris has got a Herculean task. That is a huge challenge.
He knows what he's walking into.
That's what I'm saying. And then, that you appoint the man. Don't we know how much the president is being paid every month? His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We know how much he's being paid. If we know how much of the taxpayers' money that is being given to the president of the land, Chris's
salary can't be a secret. It can't remain a secret.
It can never. And we dare anybody to keep it a secret. Nobody should daydream. Nobody should behave like the living dead. You are alive, but you are dead man walking. that they will keep that a secret. You honey no for not catching future. Get 20,000, tell us that he's been given 20,000. Get 100,000, tell us he's been. I'm of the view that we've gone past that 30,000, 50,000 coaches.
That's why we need to know exactly how much he's earning.
Know how much he's earning.
What new barrier have we? What's the new threshold?
Targets? You understand what we are saying? So you cannot say details will come out later, and we've gone past close to a week now.
Yep.
No details on the coaching matter. How much are the assistant coaches taking? We need to know. One thing that I'm so happy about is that he's not going to be working on a part-time basis.
You mean no more part-time coaches?
No more part-time. And we need to know where he'll be staying. We need to know. Is that going to come as an extra cost to the Ghanaian, to the taxpayer? We need to, because I know of a resident at airport that this GFA, Ketokraku GFA, has turned into what? The office of the so-called technical director, Le Patre. No more Wahindos and Wayo. We need to know where Chris will be staying. Who is going to be paying for that? Because look, that building at the airport residential area, I have been to that building. Look, no more in Botecham several times. Come on, in here underground. Come on, it's a very decent place for Chris to feel
proper neighborhood,
properly comfortable.
Airport residential area.
And to the Minister of Youth and Sports, look, if you love Ghana, if you know you are working for Ghana, these are the sort of things
he must insist.
He must insist that that building goes back
given to its rightful
purpose for which it was acquired. Why are you playing with our heart like that? Why are you doing that?
Take it easy. Take it easy.
No, I mean, come on. They'll do all these things. The least opportunity, they'll be sharing 13 billion old Ghana Citi to management members. 13 billion old Ghana Cities to management members. For no work done. For no work done. I repeat, for absolutely no work done. I have said it on this program. No more. Very soon, we will show Ghanaians how much everybody got. This one, I'm talking as Coach Nimley and my investigative team. Very soon, we are coming out to the people of this country.
You have an investigative team?
I feel like I'm a Dwamona. Beni Mokote Secretariat, ni a scholarship, ni a Jahan workers, ni a Jahan Yemeke Goro boys. We will expose all this. All these things will come out. And we will show to the people of this country how much money every Dick, Tom, and Harry got. How it was shared, the account numbers to which it was paid, the name across every account number. So give Chris Hughton that building to go and stay. You see, the man must be made very comfortable.
You mean no hotels?
No sick like vehicle movement. We had to push his car.
One
simpia. Oh, no, many film. You see, maybe you will not say it. Me, I'll say it.
Please wrap it up.
One simpia. You remember when we went to the wedding? CK asked back it on and up.
Time out.
Are you saying that was the? Are you saying that happened to his official car?
No, he didn't have his official car.
CK's official car. The car bought in the name of the Black Stars head coach. It's what the general secretary uses. My own brother, my own friend, Prosperado. So we sat here and said, no, you can't do that. Give the car back to the man. Because that is the reason for which it was a plane.
Chris Hughton would have taken over that car by now.
Oh.
That would have been his car now.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
So no hotel, no rentals.
No hotel, no car rentals. Because we will not do achi. Nobody will go and push arrow glass. Nobody will do that.
Wrap it up.
Give Chris Hughton the very best. So that me, when I come here and I'm critiquing for him to succeed and I'm analyzing.
You know that he has been given the best conditions.
You have no excuse whatsoever. My last point, I listened to Dr. Nyao Tamaklo one of them, Dr. Nyawotama, one of the most distinguished Ghanaians. You understand? And he spoke, and I agree with him. He said, you know what? CK damaged his own reputation. The moment he was denied that vehicle, his official vehicle, he should have resigned. He should have resigned. But if you cannot fight for what
stand up for yourself,
stand up for what is yours. Why wouldn't somebody take pen and cancel your players, your team selection, cancel them? No more. One Chris, awa too. Chris Hughton, Ghanaians are welcoming you. We've been starving for over 40 years. No more. For over 40 good years. Shamopulu. 40 years. Shamopulu. Calabash. No, I won't back Chris Hughton. Like Otuado said, he should be a man of his own. He should stand up and do things that he believes will enhance his reputation. Because I'm not sure he wants the Black Stars job to be his last job. This is more like a proper test case for how well he does with the Ghanaian national team. Could get him his next EPL job.
Could even be that he's venturing into the national space now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's using that to rehabilitate his
to
reputation.
rehabilitate his career. Other countries will be looking at him. One pack get to Krekufai. Eshi padie, ni padie achuni hawo. Shika padie chuni ni bomode. It goes to his legacy. It is under his reign
That Chris would have delivered
an
AFCON.
Not going to win under 20 and see it as an achievement. Not getting embarrassed at the AFCON and see it as an achievement.
Okay.
Or Nwama Landi, not getting embarrassed at the World Cup
it up.
and see it as an achievement. Not going to Chan and getting embarrassed and see it as an achievement. Not getting our under 17 women's national team banned for the next 2 editions, accumulatively 6 years, and see it as an achievement. We don't want that. We want you to lift the AFCON, and I'll be standing. One of your most critical critics will be standing in front of you. Keto say yeah.
That will be quite the day.
Of course, when he sees me, he will welcome him by his side. One wabo when you 1 year. No matter Chris.
Amen.
The minister will have to acquire that. Look, I'm going to go and I'm not
Let me talk to Pichichi for a second. Knees heated. Somebody
Very
should give
heated.
some
Very
ice
very
water. Pichichi.
Well, Ben, when Coach Chris arrived in Ghana last year, I was quite skeptical if he was to be the Black Stars head coach. I think one of the key things I was worried about was the fact that he had no experience in terms of national team football and also when it comes to African football terrain. But he's taken 12 years to act as the technical advisor for the
12
Black
months,
12 months, 12 months, yes. To act as the technical advisor for the Black Stars. I guess now he has gathered experience as to what the Black Stars team is all about. I'm sure I will partially pardon him for Tuado's woes because if you act as the technical advisor, yours is to advise the coach. As to whether the coach does it or not, you have no discretion on that. So I will not blame him entirely for the woes of Tuado. So but you can't blame him entirely for our World Cup.
I'm not completely to be blamed. My 100, you people make it 50. 100.
Pichichi, preach on, please.
But clearly he's in charge now. I think one of the things that Chris Hughton has to do now is to unify the Black Stars. And I think his first call-up is very crucial. Ben, his first call-up for the game against Angola is very huge. It
will say a lot about what we have to expect.
That's why I'm just skeptical about whether he will really do well or he will really not do well. I'm just waiting for that first call-up, the players he will invite for the game against Angola. And I think that it's huge here. If players that are in so much form, like Joseph Paintil, Jeffrey Schlupp, playing week in, week out, do not make the next Black Stars team, hell will break loose again. As simple as that. Chris knows this. And I can tell you that at the moment, aside Mohamed Kudus, one player who's also on top form is Joseph Paintil. He plays week in, week out in the Belgian league.
He might have been.
scores.
He must be our most
Exactly.
consistent player in Europe this season.
I watched him last weekend.
For me, nothing justifies why such a player was not in the Black Stars, if not for political reasons. And so Chris Hughton has a huge chance to talk to the player, to talk to his employers, and bring that player back into the Black Stars team. If he does that, clearly, it sends a message that possibly he's in charge of the team.
Yeah.
The next call-up, if Joseph Pintel misses out, it's a huge statement of intent that then Chris Hughton is just like the one he succeeded. As simple as that. His first call-up will signify whether
we are getting more Otoado
or now moving into a
somebody.
new era. Someone who knows his job, someone who can stand for his will and his right and his selection. And I think that over the past few years, this interference in the Black Stars has been a bane around the national team. Every coach that comes around is being touted as being influenced by the GFA. Chris has a chance to change that narrative.
Before you continue, it's not being touted. The fact is, the FA president said
He's on record.
on record to have said under his reign, he will influence the thing.
I think me and Ben were at that press conference.
Yes.
Yeah, he says nowhere will a national team head coach be allowed to pick a national team on his own, and that if he is not around, he will pass on. He will put somebody in there to represent his interest.
Sure. So Chris Hughton has a chance to, I think, to at least change the dynamics from his selections. Some players who have fallen out. I think by now we should be seeing signs of he trying to talk to this. I think behind the scenes he's trying to do that. Talk to these players behind the scenes.
So if I'm getting you right, you think he should mend relationships
Exactly.
with the frozen
Players
outfit?
like Joseph Pintel by now should have been spoken to. Schlopp, we know what happened before the World Cup. He should be also spoken to.
Does he bring Duncan back?
Absolutely. Duncan is also a very solid player. So every player that deserves to be there based on his performance. I think for me, for the Black Stars call-up, this is what I always think. That if you play in the top European league, the top 5, you can't be ignored when it comes to the Black Stars.
It's only
I would even
play in the
make it
top
top
5.
I would even make it top 6. Let's consider players who are doing well
Top
in
6.
Portugal.
Good. If you play in this major European leagues, you cannot be ignored when it comes to the Black Stars. Because the Black Stars is where your best
The best
players
of the best.
assemble. And these best players are normally in the major European leagues. You can't ignore somebody playing for Crystal Palace in the English Premier League. You can't ignore someone playing in the Belgian league week in, week out. And then whether we are chasing players in Cyprus and in Nepal. But moving on, I think that one thing also that Chris Hughton offers is that he's a coach with huge experience.
But which team do they play for in the past? Like Himalaya FC or
Charlie, I have no idea.
Everest
No, but they are Ghanaian.
Team,
What I can tell you is that
that's
there are
still there.
Ghanaian players everywhere.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Ghanaian players, I didn't know there was a team called Nikon Rakatsima. They are in Thailand.
With this one, I blame our league because there's no reason someone should go to some of these countries to play football.
Exactly.
There's
my
no
point.
reason.
Exactly. Please
So-
build your point.
In wrapping up quickly, what he offers also is a coach who has so much experience in the English Premier League. And I think we all agree that the English Premier League is the best league. For someone who has coached Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle, Brighton, I don't think that he should be able to sit down for somebody to tell him what to do. He has so much experience. And I don't think that he's getting this job because of what favor. I think he's getting this job because of what he deserves the job at the moment. Yes, I said last week that he's not the first choice. Per my sources, he wasn't the GFA's first choice. They preferred other coaches. They didn't get their preferred choice, but the job has been given to him now. He needs to tell them that I'm in charge. I don't fear you guys. I want to take charge, make this my team, win the ultimate. His target, obviously, is to win the next AFCON. I think even if we finish second, we are failed in Ivory Coast. If we don't win, we are failed.
But we are falling. Our standards are falling
Yes.
off. You can't be
No.
ascribing.
See,
you can't be
if we
ascribing-
don't win the
hold on.
next AFCON, then we have failed.
Are you sure?
Yes.
We went from about 4 back-to-back semi-finals to a group round of 16 exit to a group.
But
You need
our
to-
level now, second place at the AFCON,
we will not cut it.
we will not cut it for us.
Interesting.
And once,
under this current administration,
that's why we are pleading that.
You want to jump from a group stage
My point is this.
from group stage to final.
See,
Okay.
my point is this. He should make this team his own by facing his employers. And once that interference
it sees.
perception
He
is
can go
out
all
of
the
the way, then he has no option than to win the AFCON for us. Because the key thing now is to battle the interference tag. And once he's able to do that, and Ghanaians coach, namely here, is able to say that, okay, now from his call-ups and stuff, there's no interference. Then he can't finish second at the AFCON. He has to win the AFCON for us. For me, I think I like his CV. I like what he's coming on board with. He's been around the team now. He knows the ins and outs of the team. He knows the culture of the players. And I think after 12 months, he should know the team very well. And so it's just a matter of trying to just mend old relationship. And also introduce new players. I think one thing that Chris Hughton gave us was some new players when we all didn't know where they were coming from. Coach Milo has also done the same. Even Siki Akono brought in some fresh players that we didn't know of. I think Chris Hughton should also introduce some new players also into the Black Stars, and that's key for us.
Playing top flight football.
Absolutely.
Third division new player. He's a new player.
Thank you.
So for me, once he's in charge, he can do everything in Jesus' name.
What about
Amen.
the house and the car?
It's okay. So you have done that already. Let me get. I can't believe it. Let me get to some messages here. Abensuo from Spintex says, "Hey, Graham Potter, Atija, Amai Jewa from a fan call says Sports Panorama, excited to be part of today's exclusive edition." Harry from Hacho says, "Sports team, we are already seated, waiting. Please tell GFA gurus to allow Chris to do his work. No interference. The Black Stars we know will bounce back." Lipu Mama says, "Another great evening with my sports crew. Since Klopp refuses to go, Liverpool will come stronger next season because this season, dear, 9/10 now. Charlie, Lipu Mama has actually given up on the crusade. Charlie, his club still has pushed. She has given up. I can't believe it. Gregory Lord from Santa Maria says, Coach Chris will make noise for the Qataris, then the deal go flop. This one here says, "Good evening, Ben and crew. Lots of people are particular about the style of play of Chris Hughton, but let's be fair to him. He's been coached to clubs like Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, and the likes. These teams are middle to lower table clubs, and they must mostly set up not to get beat. It explains why he plays that style. Coach Chris refers to as bim bam boom. With better materials, I'm sure he'll play a more expansive style." Kutre Kekeli from
Kutre Kekeli, I disagree. A leopard can't change his spots.
We'll get to you in a bit. Good evening, Ben and team. Pukali from Laboni. Pukali. I wish Numo Chris Hughton all the best. It wasn't another Daddy Sue day. It was another Daddy Sue day in Saudi with 2 assists. By the end, we leave there.
You saw the other assists.
It's okay. Nobody has asked you to grade any assets.
Oh,
It's okay. Nobody. I'm reading messages. Nobody will talk about Ronaldo. It's okay. Nobody will talk about Ronaldo. It's okay. Charlie. Nobody will talk about Ronaldo. It's okay. He has given it.
I didn't see that the pass was like something prime Mesut Ozil. Prime Mesut.
Short on ball ya pole me. Ona ya ni atai. Ni atai ni le mo gbe ball ke ba se. If the ball ni le ke ke pa dia ka to. Play kick this attack. Ni pa dia to no ni anya.
This is assist.
I can't believe this. Always an agenda. Let me read. This one here says to shake Ni Abaha and shake Nathan Kwao, that the sheikh is on his way home. We will show them that indeed there is money in the house. Let them know that there is cash in the bag.
Cash. You have to
Sheikh Saint Pablo from Laboni.
So now all Man United fans will be known as sheikhs.
Yeah, Charlie.
Sheikh Ni Abba, Sheikh Me,
Sheikh Kwao.
Sheikh Rashford. Yesterday when the news dropped that the Qataris were interested, Charlie, I saw this video of like 200 of these guys dressed in their turbans and just dancing to some rap song. I couldn't even believe it.
Charlie, there's cash coming. Let me read more messages. I'm super excited that Chris Hughton has been named our coach, but the FA should simply leave him to select his players and play the game his way. That's the only way we can succeed. Godwin Darlington Quason from Soultum. Gregory again says, I doubt if Chris's appointment will bring any changes, but let's see if he can stand on his feet to resist the interference on his selection. It looks like everybody is unanimous on this matter. This one says, I don't think Chris Hughton will do any meaningful job. He will be manipulated by the FA just like the FA did during the Otoado era. He's already compromised even before the game started. As far as my crystal ball reveals, Ghana will not achieve anything significant. No win AFCON, most likely no World Cup qualification. Hey, this guy.
Oh, come on, they are literally doubling the African place.
Yeah.
Like for the World Cup, it's our bet, right?
Right now, if we can't qualify for the World Cup, it's a serious problem because there's at least 9 African teams at the World Cup.
Again, right? I'm always saying that, look, football standards have dropped, so I won't put anything past us. Like I always say, we went from making 4 AFCON semis to thinking it wasn't good enough to coming down to round of 16.
You are right, but if we can't make it to the World Cup, it shows how bad it is.
This one says, last season by this time, we were a banter club, ridiculed left, right, center. We were building slowly and found ourselves playing some good football and deservedly top the table. Now we receive hatred and scorn all the time. A massive party was thrown on Twitter to celebrate our fall. Oh, how the standards have quickly risen and how Arsenal is no more a banter club. Liverpool threw away a 10-point lead and they are good challengers. We have a bad patch and everyone is like, we told you, we live to see in May. Jude from Kakasuna.
This is not fun.
Yeah. Charlie, he writes me a whole essay.
That's what.
They are scared too. They are scared too.
That people are after us.
Yeah.
Why are people after us now?
See, they've taken the snuff.
From
Let me read more messages from Ojatana in Abulekuma. Says, happy to hear your voices. Man United is improving by the day. Eric Ten Hag is doing something sweet. Can't wait to see United beat Barca at Old Trafford. I'll get to more messages in a bit. Let me take Susu and Nathan's thoughts on Chris and then we'll move the matter forward. Susu, your thoughts on Chris. You've heard all the arguments from building to cars to tactics to whatnot. What's your take on the hiring?
I honestly, it's a very complicated one. Because seriously, because we have all of these things about the selection. If he's selecting the best players, that's the first step. Because I believe if he's selecting the best players, when compared to other African teams, talent-wise, I don't think there's more than 5-6 countries with better players than Ghanaian players in Europe. I don't think that's clear right now. The second thing is, I'm not sure about his style and how Ghanaians will react to it. That's my biggest concern. I don't think...
Do we have the luxury to be bothering about style right now?
I think Ghanaian fans are very entitled. And that's
we've seen the good old days.
Yeah, it's just how it is. Because if you think about it, if you are someone who was born... If you are someone you were around for AFCON 82. If someone told you that the Black Stars will win another AFCON for 40 years, I'm sure you tell them how.
Yeah.
How? Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
You wouldn't have believed it.
And I think that mentality that is our God-given right to be winning AFCON, going to the World Cup, all of that, is something Ghanaians expect success from the Black Stars. And they expect success playing attractive football. I think Ghanaians want us to dominate. They don't want 1-0. Yeah. They don't like those things. They want us to show where the better team.
That's what coach will tell you. You don't want bim bam boom wins.
Exactly.
You want proper silky football.
Exactly. And for me, that's my only worry with Chris Hughton. If it's about going to tournaments to win 1-0 and get results, and Ghanaians will be happy, I think he can do well. I think he can, because we've seen him. He can set up a team to be solid if he has to.
We have players to play on the counter.
But if Ghanaians start thinking about how he's winning, if they start putting pressure on him to play a certain way, it might not work out for us. So that's my only worry, that he won't get the support he needs because Ghanaians want to see a certain style. Because I don't think his competence is in question. For me, the two questions for me is, will Ghanaians be okay with the way he plays? And will he be able to do the job on his own? Will there be a lack of interference? Because for me, like I've always said, I don't even have an issue with a GFA president being involved in national team selection as a GFA president. But our GFA president has too many other interests. There's too much conflict of interest. There's someone who's a club owner. Imagine if we had remember this, we had this whole film on Balfour issue that went on for months and months and months.
I think that was very unfair to the player as well.
It was unfair to the player, but he wasn't playing. Yeah. And imagine if we're in the same situation and Philemon Balfour goes to the World Cup and Dreams FC are getting, was it the $10,000 a day or whatever was being given by FIFA to the clubs of players who had gone? The GFA president is directly benefiting from squad selection in that situation. Yep. And for me, that's the reason why, if we are being serious, he shouldn't be involved. In fact, I don't even understand why a GFA president has a club in the league. It doesn't make sense.
It's how we put it together.
How our football structure is set up.
But you see, our football structure is broken. to be very honest, because look at what's happening with Piqué about the Spanish Super Cup. He went to negotiate the deal as a businessman, but it's become a big issue in Spain because he's still a Barcelona player.
So
he's deciding how much Barca are getting paid, how much Real Madrid are getting paid, etc., etc. So we have to take conflict of interest seriously.
In the end, he had to be forced to retire. People think he retired because he wanted to retire, but this is the reason.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Yeah. So the fact is, we have to take conflict of interest seriously, and the fact is, once we have someone with vested interest, how can we be sure he's making the right decisions for our football? Because I cannot, when I see all of these things, I can't trust him around the national team making the decisions. If he had no interest and he said he's helping pick the team for whatever reason, I can think that maybe he has an overriding reason. Because if you're GFA, the national team is kind of your responsibility. So you being involved is not necessarily a crazy idea. But with all this conflict of interest, I can't trust him. And the truth is, if the next GFA president also has this vested interest, I would hope that he stays away from the national team in terms of player selection. So I just want, because it doesn't add transparency to the team. Because if we have these things that Baba Rahman he's Baba Rahman's agent and whatever, and Baba Rahman has to play games or whatever, and these are the discussion going around, it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help Baba Rahman.
Yep.
It doesn't help the people behind him. It ruins the trust in the national team.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that at this point, the trust in the national team is pretty broken.
Yeah, and you
can tell from the trajectory of the messages we're getting.
And that's my point. All of these things contribute. And the truth is, people love the Black Stars. But it's difficult to love the Black Stars when all these things are going on. Which is why I understand why Coach feels so strongly.
Bring back the love.
I understand why Coach feels so strongly. Because
bring back the love.
It's the national team.
Which love? Bring back the love to take us to court.
If all of these things are... And the truth is, if all these things are happening around the national team,
So
I don't blame Ghanaians for not wanting to support
bring
the
on
national
the
team.
lawsuit.
And look at how people were reacting to the World Cup. The World Cup, which we had missed the last one, we should have been fully behind it.
But do you know what?
There was so much pessimism because of these things.
Do you know that still after the World Cup,
No explanation.
they've not spoken.
Yeah, that
I think they released the statement. That was it.
The last time was the press conference. I think Otuado did the final press conference.
no. We are talking. You see, Peter, we are saying that post World Cup, as an FA,
Press conference.
we should have had.
Other FAs have had
You understand?
a post-mortem.
You know,
what went on,
Ben,
who needed to resign has resigned.
as for those
If we are
technical
restructuring, we are
decisions,
restructuring.
As for those technical decisions, they can take it far away from us. But at least an interaction to tell Ghanaians that Ghanaians, we went to a World Cup. This and this happened. We know we had high plans, but they couldn't work well.
Because of
You know, so
situation A or
going
B.
forward, we'll try and do this, that. But I just find, look,
Come and
Ben,
support your team.
Ben,
It's
if
yours.
good, even if it's for the
But they're
optics,
expecting us that will come and support.
you see, even
It's
if
ours will support.
it's for the optics,
Boom.
do it. Because you see, those things, they mean a lot to people. And
They mean a lot, though.
I'll
Today,
take
you
it.
say people are not going to watch your local league.
Yeah.
This could be some of
I'll give
Ben,
you
I'm coming.
I'll give you even an example of what happened on the pitch, right?
There
So
you go.
when the game ended, right, the players came out there to say thank you to the fans.
Okay.
The captain and his brother did not turn
They
up.
didn't show up.
The fans were
They just saw it
upset.
all back.
No, I'm saying the fans, and it's not something we just noticed in the studio. Colleague journalists from Uganda noticed this in the stadium, that two brothers, well, you might not have liked how you were subbed from the game, but it is not about you.
It's very immature. It's very immature.
See, explaining things to your fans is always important, and you don't always need to interact with your fans when things are only going well.
You know,
So I think that's
and you see, if the GFA wants an example, they need to look in-house for a very good example. And I said it when it happened. The role played by Sami Enimado,
When we're going to play
Nigeria.
Come on, look. Sami, if you know you're on my job,
You see, and I say that, and for me, I looked at the guest. Look, somebody will say, "Oh,
one bell for Sami Enim.
it may not down." Somebody will say that, "Oh,
Later,
it
I was
didn't."
in Kumasi when Sami went down on his knees on national television, begging Ghanaians to come and support the Black Stars against
like
Nigeria.
joking.
I'm telling you, no more.
And you see, when you do, there's always a place for some of these things, and some of these acts warm people's hearts, and they show people
That's
that
how you bring back
that
the
you
love.
That's how
feel,
you
you
do
also
it.
feel what we feel.
that you feel what we feel, that you are as hurt as we are, even more hurt.
What's an edible?
You understand? So I feel that the FA needs to look at some of these things and understand that in Ghana, you see, they need to understand how we function as Ghanaians. Ghanaians, we are We are very cultural type. We like certain, but it doesn't matter if you are in the year 2023 or 2000. There are certain things that matter to Ghanaians. For example, somebody does something nice for you. You call the person the next day to thank them. Or you have an issue, you take elders to go and play. That kind of, those things matter to us. So when the FA notices that the way fans feel about the Black Stars, there's a disconnect. What you try to draw the fans in. How do you draw them in? A number of things. First, your policies, how you run the FA. Second level, which are the softer things, how you even communicate with fans.
With journalists.
How you
When
communicate
they came
with
back from the
journalists.
World Cup, they say if you tarnish the brand, we'll take it to court. If you speak
see,
bad of the Black
I'll
Stars,
take you to court.
threat. Rather,
The point is
they
that-
were threatening us.
You see, may I say this? In this space in which we operate, the space in which we operate called journalism, there's a space for things that are ethical. So, for example, I cannot turn the mic on and say things about somebody which are not true.
Exactly.
But you see, when it comes to the issues of the national team, I always say that before you react and say, I'm taking somebody to court, understand the context of what the person is saying. People were very upset at what happened at the World Cup.
Supposed to clap our hands for that.
The build up, everything we got there. And people were more angry because there were basic coaching decisions we should have taken and we didn't take.
Yeah.
Decisions that other countries will take in a heartbeat and not care.
We're leaving our
And
statistically
when somebody
our
speaks
best
about
players
it,
at home.
It's like, and when somebody speaks about it, you point
It-
your
it
left
means that-
finger to your brain that the person was
I think, right? I think that for me, look, I've watched this FA over a period of time. The one advice I can give them is that look, you need to be tolerant of other people's opinions.
Oh.
You are not all knowing.
If
You are not.
don't
You
write
are not.
articles about it.
Let me
you
show you.
lie.
You are not.
See,
You are not the.
I learned
smartest
something.
people on
I
the
learned
planet.
my at various points in my life, my mom and dad told me something. They all said it differently, but they meant this. They say if somebody is saying something to you, filter everything. This one, it makes sense. I'll keep it. This one is nonsense. I'll throw it away. But to wholly dismiss other opinions, it's not too good because when you don't listen to those other things, how do you even know whether you're on the right path or not? And I always say this on this platform. Those of us here, fans, journalists, whoever, and those of us running football, we all want the same thing.
Exactly. No one win what I want.
Then, what do we want?
Win.
What do we want?
We always say that.
We all want to
If the
win.
Black Stars win, fans will be happy.
Yeah.
Journalists
We
will get
all-
mixed.
Ben,
The FA doors will be
We
open
all
for the FA.
want to win.
Me,
We all
Abba will get a contract to write a technical report. Everybody will be
That's
happy.
all buy any. No, no, you pay your 13 billion. You pay your 13 billion.
So I think the GFA can do a lot more. For example, announcing Chris Hughton is well and good. When are we going to get a proper engagement with
ask him
Mr.
questions.
Hughton?
Yep.
So he sits down, we ask him questions. I'm sure he's not averse to questions. I'm sure
I
he would
doubt
like
so,
to
yeah.
hear
Yeah,
questions.
He's used to that type
Yeah,
of
he's a very
contact.
friendly person.
So
Yeah, he's a very
those
friendly
things,
person.
then you
He
tell
comes
us,
from an environment that encourages that.
no, how much do how
Anytime you
much,
get closer to him with the microphone, he's ready to talk.
you
He's
know
a very calm.
how much is he getting? He's getting this. Then we listen to Mr. Houghton's own ideas of how he sees the Black Stars and what he wants the Black Stars to look like by the time he's done with this team. Because to be honest, this team needs to win an AFCON. Everything we are trying to do is to ensure that this team wins. Something that we'll all be proud. Because I always, when I speak to colleagues from other countries, right, I speak to my friends in Cote d'Ivoire, and whenever we get into football discussions, they always go back to, back when we won in 92, we won in 2015. And I scratch my head and go like,
You
that
said,
could have been
"But
our
when
story.
We won in 82.
You weren't there. Were you there?
I wasn't. So our very good friends at the GFA, we are begging you. See, as for the work, once you elected or you chose to stand for a position and you've won, just do the work well.
In August,
Well, whatever.
Whatever.
Let's see what football people
Let's
do.
see what the football people. Unfortunately, the GFA election is not a national election.
Yeah.
It will be they
120 delegates.
will be chosen by 120 people.
25
25.
Hey, look,
Ni Abba.
we just want things to improve. We just want things to get better.
We just want the best for the national team. Let me read more messages. Koliko aka Shiton Kwa says, I hope the new coach means new direction and everything. If it's going to be the same old behind the scenes story, then it won't make any difference. As for Arsenal, they have themselves to blame for giving the league away if they don't win. Silly mistakes here and there. This one here. Let me read more messages. This is from Kobena Ejuri Baden, aka Gobesika Ensifie, listening live from Dansoman Sahara.
Gobesika de Nsifie Toby why? Toby Nedi.
He says Dortmund win against Yanung was followed by Fufu. Then Gobe Eaters, we are behind. We must do something. Adeyemi says he eats a lot of.
He says he eats a lot of African food, and that it must be the fufu that powers him.
He says Fufu plus his father's genes.
You know, all I can show you is Enzo Kruder.
We'll get there. This one here is from Abu from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oh, that's nice. Yes, I'm a fan of this program. I've been a fan for a long time, and now my wife Yolanda is a super fan.
Hey, Yolanda!
Yolanda, why you need
Yolanda? Oh, say Yolanda!
Charlie, do
One bell for Yolanda.
All the way from
Charlie, one
Tulsa.
bell.
Thank you. This one here coming from Alfred from Amasaman says, "Good evening, Ben and crew. Thank God it's Friday, and thank God Panorama is live. Coach has made." Coach has ensured that I've been laughing by the roadside and people are looking at me amazingly. So it's Chris Hughton, the GFA, has been hiding since that long. This GFA people are not serious to our football. Greetings to our Liverpool fans, okay? This one says Chris Hughton should have been the head coach of the Black Stars. Mubarak from Kolibu. I'm guessing you want to say for the World Cup. This one here from country. This one here says, okay, I don't even want to go on this one. It says good evening, Ben and Nearby and Co. Reports from several portals claim. Okay, I'm not even sure. I can't substantiate them. I'll get to more of those things. So yes, you keep your messages coming. Talking about that, let's just do a quick update on the Christian Atsu situation. PGG, you have a few updates for us, or you want
Yeah. So earlier today, his agent Nana Setre granted an interview where he indicated that it's been 12 days now. They are still looking for Christian Atsu. So according to him, they are 100% positive that Atsu is still alive. But then there's a new twist to this. They've sent his images to the various hospitals in Turkey, hoping that maybe
he can be identified.
He could have been in another hospital, and then maybe because they don't know him very well, they are not able to really say this is Atsu here or this is Atsu there. So they've sent his images around the hospitals in Turkey.
They've got to cover all bases.
Exactly, with the hope that somebody will get to identify that picture, and then maybe he could be in a coma somewhere. Maybe somebody will just get to identify him and be like, okay. So he's giving out details of how to contact them. If you are in Turkey and you get to Sports Christian Atsu anywhere, just get in touch with them, and then they'll be glad. His brother is there. That's I think the name is Trassam. I think Trassam, one of the Trassam names.
He said he's not leaving Turkey.
He's not leaving Turkey. If it's not seen Atsu yet, and also the consulates in Turkey. That's the Ghana consulate in Turkey have also joined forces with the family and then the agent. So at the moment, it's full force. They are looking everywhere for him with the hope that he's still alive somewhere. So that's the update coming today.
I just want to plug in and say that, you see, this one, let me get into the realms of international relations and diplomacy. Ghanaian missions outside. You see, when you are a mission, you are there because you are there to represent Ghanaians. You need to be up and doing. You need to be on your game. You need to ensure that Ghanaian citizens in that country are taken care of. You see, don't wait till something happens and then you are scrambling. Ghanaian missions outside this country, start working, start to enhance your network. Every Ghanaian who is in that space, find that Ghanaian, get details, get contacts, speak to them, and check on them regularly so that when something happens, you'll be able to account for them. That's my little piece of advice for all diplomatic missions outside Ghana.
Let's listen to Atsu's agents very briefly. When we are done with that, we'll get into some Premier League talk, and hopefully we can talk about some Europa League action as well. So let's listen to Nana Setre, who is agent of Ghana's Christian Atsu.
We're still looking for Christian Atsu, and we know it's 12 days now, and we still have hope. We are here on site. I'm here together with his brother, his sister. We have a friend from Turkey, friend from Portugal. We're also here with the Ghana Embassy to Turkey. A member of staff is here with us all the way, and we are hopeful. We are hopeful that Christian is still alive. He's well. We've seen a lot of bodies come out of the building, but we are hoping and praying that any more bodies will not be Christian, and we hope that he is in the hospital. So I want to appeal to the hospitals. We are working with AFAD to place his picture in all hospitals in Turkey. So if you're working at a hospital, please take time to look at these pictures. We just want to find him. We just want to make sure that he's safe and he's well.
So you heard Nana Setra, who is the agent of Christian Atsu, says they are covering all bases as far as this issue is concerned. Okay, let's get to talk of Arsenal Football Club. They have had a mini slump of some sorts, and the news is that Partey had a muscle injury. We learned that it's not a very serious injury and that he should be fine in about a couple of...
Talking about
in
Arsenal,
a few weeks, yeah.
on the night when they lost to Manchester City in the league, not like I'm laughing at them, but our very good friend, Bright Ofosu, aka Ya Ofosu, aka Kawawa.
Bright likes misbehaving.
Ben, have you turned on my mic?
Yes,
Let me play. So, Bright Ofosu tweeted something. He said, "This is tweet. 8 points clear. It is lonely at the top. 5 points clear. Bukayo Saka." And he added 0 points now. 11 consecutive losses to one team. And he added a snippet of an Alaji K Frimpong song.
Please play it for me.
Let me play the Alaji K Frimpong song for you. Hold on. Just give me a second. Good. Is the mic on? The mic is on, right? Okay, Ben. Okay. That's the song.
But I think
it's not banter to Arsenal fans, but you see, I did not expect where he even found this song to come and play. Susu Jare Numo.
it's looking at the top that used to kill me.
Hey, Kawawa, be careful.
But Arsenal have dropped to second on the table now. They have a game in hand though on Manchester City. They've played 22 matches. Man City are on 23 matches, so they could flip this around this weekend. Coach, you've watched Arsenal. If you watch the past couple of matches they've played, now look at the fixtures, right? You look at the results from they've not won in their last 4 matches. So it was a 1-0 defeat to Man City in the FA Cup, a 1-0 defeat to Everton in the Premier League, a 1-1 draw with Brentford in the Premier League, and another 3-1 defeat at home to Manchester City.
Okay, so
Because I think we should let's talk about Wednesday night, because I think Wednesday night tactically was fascinating.
I said something. Ateta's behavior
Oh, which behavior?
and his inexperience
Yeah,
will
fine.
always come back to hunt this team. You see, on Wednesday, even the manager created so much anxiety.
How?
How so?
If you started watching the game, from the moment he shook hands with Pep Guardiola, he became so anxious. And if you look at the way he was going about his business, it was like he didn't believe in what he has told the players to do. Go watch the game again. When the game started, Pep actually sat down for the first 15 minutes.
Arsenal were the better team in the first half.
I'm coming. They were the better team in the first half. So you ask yourself, when they were the better team in the first half, apart from, I'm not sure they created clear-cut chances. There wasn't any. There was the Nketiah header.
Yes.
That was the only clear-cut chance they created. Even the ball that resulted in a penalty, it wasn't a chance. Because I believe that if Ederson had stayed in the goal, the angle would have favored him. So Nketiah would have rather been looking to maybe doing a pullback for somebody to score than for him to go directly to goal. Now, and then I'm very certain about the way the Arsenal team responded to the party's injury.
Ah.
And that is coaching. When it became so clear that Partey was going to miss the game, you could clearly see that when they started the game, go back in that first half, look at where Odegaard came to pick all his balls from. He came very deep. He kept dropping very deep, picking the ball from the position that Thomas Partey would have occupied and kept him high up the pitch. Normally, it is from Odegaard to Saka, then we are coming. But this time, to be Odegaard to Xhaka, back to Odegaard, got Jorginho, Odegaard before Saka. Too many transitions. And Man City dealt with it. Look, City knew that Arsenal will want to match them toe-to-toe. Again, that was an error on the part of Pep Guardiola, on the part of Arteta. He was expecting Man City to play in a certain way. But rather, Pep, at some point in time, gave the ball to them, stepped back a bit, and allowed them to
That I found very interesting.
Yes, that's the inexperience I was talking about. Because he felt that, look, I know this manager. I know what his thinking will be. I know how they will play. So let's go and play. No. There are times where you also have to do things a bit differently. Man United versus Man City. When you look at the selection that day, there were so many things that Pep didn't expect Ten Hag to do.
Okay.
So they were caught unawares. And Man United went and punished them. Then he thought Ten Hag would have gone with Casemiro, Eriksen, and then Bruno. But then Ten Hag introduced Fred and then asked Bruno to play wide. And then there was Eriksen as well. So all the four key midfielders that Man United had, Ten Hag brought them. Pep did not expect that. And one thing that Arteta needed to control, which he didn't do, which got to the place, was the anxiety that I was talking about.
The anxiety.
They were too anxious. Look at the first goal that they gave away.
Tomiyasu.
Under pressure. The ball is on the touchline. Is that where he should be given a back pass? Especially when the ball is not on the turf. A bouncing ball. A ball with the height on your unfavorable foot. Is that all he should have been doing was, let's go to throw.
Yeah, let's kick it out.
Just simple throw.
So are you saying that nerves are getting to Arsenal?
That was what it is. And then look at the second goal. There were moments in that game where my one and only Zinchenko, no one told Zinchenko. Look, he gave the ball away several times. They were attempting to build from the back. Anytime they did that, Man City went high pressing. Then they committed the error. There was one they committed the error. Haaland, it took the goalkeeper to come to their rescue. And it was always very clear that if Man City were to take the lead again, they were going to struggle.
Yeah, talking about that, the second goal,
Yes.
it was interesting. So Gabriel, and you notice
It was a simple giveaway.
yeah, he gave the ball away.
He gave the
Great
ball
read
away.
by Bernardo Silva to see the pass,
Exactly.
stop
He
it,
saw
and
the
then
pass, just gave it to Haaland, and there was a huge gap between Gabriel and then the
Saliba.
Saliba.
I think for Gabriel, just before that, he had considered a penalty.
A
So
penalty
he was
that-
just
I always
he was
say
just
this.
struggling in the
This
game.
why
Gabriel was
Gabriel,
was just
I
struggling,
don't
yeah.
trust him. He's played well this season,
But
but
when he
he
needed
always
to-
has that mistake.
so there are times where, as a manager, you get everybody to do what?
Calm down.
Calm down.
Yeah.
And go and look at Arteta.
Fighting with the Bruyne instinct.
Noni J Arsenal throw.
Throw, yeah, Chibole.
All these things are distractions. Oh. All these things are serious
The
distractions.
body language of the manager on
Yes.
the touchline is
And you are
essential to
sending
what
them-
happens to the players on the
Exactly.
pitch.
Wrong messages to the players over and over again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
And whilst Pep was doing the coaching, Arteta was engaged in unnecessary things. And therefore it cost the team. Look, they are still in the mix. Let
But
nobody,
they've got a game in
they're
hand.
still in the mix.
But they need to lift themselves
Yeah.
out of the slum
As
they're
it
in.
stands,
One point
Look,
in 9
if
matches.
they don't beat Villa tomorrow at lunchtime, no more.
Early kickoff.
The chaos,
Early
The
kickoff.
curse
Nyame.
of the
the
Liverpool.
curse of
Early
If
kickoff,
they
Nyame.
don't find a way of
I won't lie
beating
to you.
Villa,
I don't believe in that case.
Oh, it happens. Ask
if
Chelsea.
they don't find a way of beating Villa tomorrow, and it is good evening.
Good evening.
They are playing against good evening. He's always felt that he wasn't treated fairly.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Could have been.
By the people
No,
at
he
Arsenal.
wasn't. He wasn't.
And I believe he wasn't treated fairly.
Yeah.
too.
Good evening.
So there's everything to play for. Man City are going to Nottingham Forest. What Arsenal cannot afford to do is to go to the Etihad chasing Man City. The least they can do is to go to the Etihad having a 3-point advantage. That is that outstanding game. They need to make that game count. And it starts from tomorrow. As for Pep, it hurts that he's played Man United at Old Trafford. This is the time they should have been coming to Old Trafford.
Hey.
Would have made
no.
No moment cable. Do you think Man United would have people like the way Jinjanko and Tomiyasu were popoing? This is our game.
You still have a chance to to make a stake for your own title charge.
No, we've played them already, so we don't have a say.
But
our destiny is not in our hands; it's in their hands.
You can still win the title.
If we're now going to play Man City,
It's easy to say when it's
so
going.
for Arsenal, inexperience is going to tell on them. The earlier they start, look, how long is Partey going to be out for?
I think
I said the muscular problem.
From what I have what I have picked up is to be about 3 weeks. So I mean, if it's a couple of days gone already,
Look, Arsenal.
Weeks.
Look, this is what I think. After the episode of Wednesday night, I think they will react. I think they will beat Villa. The challenge now, if you ask me, is whether or not Jorginho gives them the exact same thing.
I was just about to ask you to touch on Jorginho and the difference is made.
Yes, and the mix they need, because clearly Jorginho is not physically imposing. Because I thought on Wednesday, there were times where a little physicality would have helped in those kinds of situations. He didn't apply that.
Couldn't drive the ball.
You know, and yes, and like you say, Odegaard had to be pulling deep to pick the ball. And you could tell that it was really worrying the structure. I mean, look, when players are out injured, teams get affected. Man United having had Casemiro in the Premier League for what? Their third game is this weekend. And you can tell the difference. That United are trying hard to get it going. But once there's no Casemiro, they do have a problem. So I can understand how Arsenal's structure will be slightly affected by Thomas Partey's absence. Be that as it may, that is why there's Mikel Arteta. He has to find a solution and find something that gets this team going. Because the last thing you want is not to react to Wednesday.
Exactly. He should come
and then get, you see, because I can understand, but when I look at Arsenal and I look at their development, when you see teams who are like this, part of it is emotional. Part of it, you need a certain emotional fuel to keep you going.
Let the players showcase that. And you, as the manager, you manage that.
Yeah, because I've heard the greatest managers always say that one of the attributes that made them great, right, was not panicking in critical game situations. Like, don't panic.
How many top managers can you remember going wild on the sidelines unless it's like they've scored a winning goal or something like that?
Have you ever seen Vicente Del Bosque on Real Madrid start? It doesn't even matter if Real Madrid
Ancelotti.
Real Madrid could be winning 4-1 in the Champions League final, and Del Bosque is staring blankly at everybody. No emotion, no celebration.
Look at how Ancelotti
Carlo Ancelotti is another example.
Even Pep, it's only when it's like you've won, like it's a winning goal or something that you see.
But a lot of the time he's very agitated on the touch.
No, but Pep, when you score him, he will bend down. Then he'll get up. Then he'll take his water bottle.
I remember
but even then, it's not extreme. You can see it's agitated, but it's not extreme.
I remember there was this Jose when he was at Chelsea. There was that knockout when Chelsea was trailing and Dembaba scored and it became 3-1, 3-3 on aggregate, and the players were jubilating by heart. And then he left his coaching area, ran to them, slapped the hell out of some of them, and said, "Come on, concentrate."
If I don't go too far, there's a recent picture of the Europa Conference League when AS Roma scored and they were celebrating, and there's a picture, right, where Mourinho just is asking everybody to calm down because the game is not over.
Yes.
That's I think
I'm saying that where Arsenal are here and they have played themselves brilliantly into this position because
they've done things right.
Yeah, they've done things right. But you see, I just want a bit about the emotional side. And I think you see, you need a certain emotion to keep you going. And it has gotten them here. I kind of agree if you say Arteta needs to...
Everybody can
needs to calm down.
He needs to calm it a bit. But you see, I get it.
Manager.
I also feel that as a manager, maybe you show a little bit of an edge to tell the players that, we are together in this, but look, maybe you read it differently. I read it differently.
You see, I understand what that. Maybe anytime he's to do that, he should do that when they are winning.
Okay.
Sure.
But you get what I mean?
You can push
because
the head
then you
guy
see-
out
You see, some players,
in
you
the
see,
dressing room.
depending on how you've groomed these players, sometimes the manager not being agitated on the touchline can. Players will look at their manager. They are looking at. They
depends on
want,
what they are used to.
yes,
Depends
maybe
on
they,
what
they
they're
just want him to be agitated. You get. They want him to be lively, so they draw inspiration from that.
I mean, I'll agree with that to an extent and say different players respond to different
different
stimuli.
things.
So I think that's a fair.
Look, be that as it may, I thought Wednesday night was important for the two teams.
Yeah.
And it was a reminder for them in different ways. For Man City, I think Wednesday night reminded them that we can be this good. We have to keep going at it if we want to defend the league title, because this is also another challenge. Let's not forget, even internally, they are trying to change. There's Erling Haaland. The marriage between Haaland and the team isn't still good yet. They are still adapting to each other. There's no Cancelo. It is why we are seeing Bernardo Silva play some of the most interesting roles in football that I don't quite understand. And for Arsenal themselves, I think it's also a reminder that there is work to do, but it is work that they can do. They've got 14 games left. They have to keep going. They have got to keep going. They have got to keep going.
Well, let me take Susu's thoughts. I don't think he's spoken too much. I'll come to you on that. Just quick thoughts on Arsenal.
Oh, everyone has said it. There's still a lot of football to be played. I still believe they have a very good chance of winning the league. And I also trust them more against other teams, in the sense that from what I've seen from Man City this season, they seem a bit more fallible than Arsenal have. And for me, when Arsenal played the small teams, more often than not, they've looked more impressive. They've gotten the results. This is a slight blip for me. Teams have blips during the season. It's normal. They were never going to be perfect, you know. But I feel like against the teams they are better than, which is 90% of the league, I trust Arsenal more on the day-to-day, from game to game than Man City, from what I've seen this season. Because if right now, Man City have become very reliant on Erling Haaland. And when teams deny him space, it can get difficult for them. And we've seen him struggle in some away games this season. I'm not saying that Erling Haaland will be stopped. It's easy to stop him. He's probably going to end up with 35, 40 goals by the end of the season in the league alone. That one day, it's clear to see from all that we've seen so far. But there'll be some certain games he might not get that service. We saw against the Everton game, he really struggled. He got one chance, he took it. But there are some games like that. And to me, some of the teams that Arsenal struggled against, it's okay. Even Man City struggled against those teams this season. So I'm not too concerned for them. I still trust in them. They have a game in hand. It's against Everton. They're at home. They'll play that game on March 1st. So that's what, in 2 weeks? So look, in 2 weeks, they might, if they're able to match Man City, or even better Man City's results as we continue throughout the season and win that game in hand, they might end up, after that game, maybe you have 4 or 5 points clear.
I think it'll be 3 points clear.
Yeah, so...
And they'll go to the Etihad.
Yeah,
that
and
game was
again,
important.
for me, what I saw from them, coach is right. The mental aspect was not great. They made a lot of sloppy errors, but I saw a team
Unforced errors.
Exactly, but for me, if you are losing based on unforced errors, I see potential that if you kind of wisen up, you can win that game. Because for me, Man City didn't create much. Man City just took advantage of Arsenal's mistakes.
Make mistakes and punish.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it also happens.
for me, I see a team that they can win at the Etihad.
All right.
It won't be easy, but they can do it.
Okay, so a bit of news coming in. This will excite Sheikh Abba.
Oh, Charlie.
Okay, so this one says official statement. Okay,
Comunicado official.
Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani. Sheikh Jassim
Jassim
bin Hamad
bin Haman
Al Thani
Al Thani.
today confirmed his submission of a bid of for 100% of Manchester United Football Club. The bid plans to return the club to its former glories, both on and off the pitch, and above all, will seek to place the fans at the heart of Manchester United Football Club once more. The bid will be completely debt-free. Operational word. Or 3 operational words. Completely debt-free. By Sheikh Jassim 92 Foundation.
L'argent les s'appelle.
La what?
L'argent les s'appelle.
Okay, so they said they will look to invest in the football teams, meaning the men's, women's, youth teams, the training center, the stadium,
So the pool that Ronaldo was complaining about, they are coming to fix
and
it.
wider infrastructure, the fan experience and the communities the club supports. It says the vision of the bid is for Manchester United Football Club to be renowned for football excellence and regarded as the greatest football club in the world. More details of the bid will be released when appropriate, if and when the bid process develops.
But
So that's the statement.
I just have to say, you know, our Man U fans, you know, coach is not exaggerating, because right now, Man U spend just as much, if not more, than most teams in the world.
Yep.
And they have owners who are taking money out of their club.
Yeah.
So when they get owners who are not trying to make a profit, they are not trying to make a profit too.
And probably are wealthier than the ones
And they'll
coming.
be pumping money into their club. We are dead.
Yeah.
We're actually dead.
We are in trouble. We are in trouble.
Honestly,
FSG, wake up! Oh, wake up!
you know,
FSG, wake up!
Can I tell you something? You know why they didn't buy Liverpool? They were about to buy Liverpool, but FSG said that they only sell 49%.
Yeah.
They wanted
So
100%.
they want
full ownership.
Look, it's actually very scary for us. Honestly, the only
You
thing
mean
that,
scary hours?
the only thing that can save the rest of football is managerial incompetence. That Richard Arnold and Meto and who.
And talk about, you know, Man United made a new appointment today. They appointed a new director of football operations
immediately.
So whoever is going to be in that Arnold Metaru, we just have to hope that they are incompetent.
Interesting.
That's all we can hope for, literally.
We are going for Van der Sar.
But another small one, Lee Mason, who forgot to join the VAR lines.
Oh.
He's been sacked.
Yes.
They've asked him to go home.
Yeah, he has to go. He needs to do better at these things. But that's it. Let me just quickly announce the Premier League fixtures for this weekend for you. Arsenal, like we've already established, early kickoff game. May the curse of early kickoff not before Arsenal.
They'll be fine. They'll beat Villa.
Arsenal Villa is early kickoff. It's a Villa Park. Yeah, good evening will be in the dugout. There's Brentford Crystal Palace, Brighton Fulham, Chelsea Southampton. So tasty. We get to see Kamal Bean. We get to see Kamal Bean. Boss, Chelsea haven't won a game.
But the point is that they'll beat Southampton.
Southampton there. See,
Southampton have to score 3.
Southampton, they don't have Southampton, like Chris was saying. Now Southampton, if they want to win a football match, it's 3 goals.
But they sacked their coach.
forget it. This is a handicap match.
Charlie, but that guy, is he okay?
Nathan Jones is delusional. That's the word for him.
He's actually one of the funniest people ever.
He's delusional.
He's so funny.
In his mind, he's one of the top 5 coaches in the world.
Yes.
In his mind.
But do you know he actually has been telling stories? They found out. I'm sure people have heard this story about him burning some table tennis.
Table tennis is not true too.
Apparently, it's not even true. He didn't even burn the table. What kind of human being?
Very interesting coach. There's Newcastle Liverpool happening. It's a game I'm very scared of. There's Wolves Bournemouth. Yeah. There's also Forest City, Leeds Everton. So they're very good games for
and
the
there's
weekend.
Man United Leicester. A
Man
game
United,
that's
Leicester,
really
yes, that's on Sunday.
that is disturbing me.
Sunday 2 o'clock.
Ten Hag ni coach.
Near Barca.
Lisandro Martinez ejemi. Na mo jina kan.
Licha.
Kelechi Iheanacho.
Abashi.
Abashi.
Shout outs, quick shout outs before we go.
So I've got 2 shout-outs, 3 actually. First of all, shout-outs to our very good friend Emmanuel Nubo, aka J the Hitch.
Nice one.
His wife gave birth to a daughter.
Nubo.
Yeah, so congrats to Emmanuel and your wife. Yeah, Nubo
Nubo is making us proud.
Nubo.
Chale.
Nubo, nice
Last
one.
weekend how in Sheba ambo in Ketia. Ma bi ke ano.
Coach, your microphone is off. You are being a nuisance now. We are giving Nubo this is Nubo's spotlight. Don't spoil it.
Football is now a father.
It's okay. Let's go on.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulate him without entering into my zone.
This week, Mamba.
And then second shouts to our colleague Kawawa. Oh, no special reason.
Oh, Bright.
Kawawa, just keep dropping the funny videos.
Oh, Bright.
Some of the videos are so hilarious.
Oh, Bright. Today's Bright's birthday.
No, I'm not saying it's his birthday. I'm just saying hi to him. Yeah.
Ah,
You should
okay,
just
good.
keep dropping the videos.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
I will allow Susujo with no.
and Susuja Numo from Alaji Cave report.
Yeah.
And our very good friend Anil Sabute, the prom fisherman. He says coach is spitting on Atete's name.
If you call me,
No
when
credit
he
about
lost the match, you should have
No
called
credit
me.
about Kope. I just want to say one shout out. Big shout outs to Sultan of Betway.
Ah.
Yeah, big man, big man.
George Abu, aka Sultan. Today is your birthday.
I have a birthday with
Small guy, but he's a big guy. Charlie, he be very, he boxes above his weight in the marketing space.
He's very, very.
Yeah, very, very with the marketing. No, he be solid guy.
Ben, when you're okay, my turn now. First one
Hey.
goes to
Charlie has put out the whole foul,
the newly married
Hey,
Ishmael Mate.
oh Charlie.
Fresh,
Oh, Charlie.
fresh. I'm looking
at the picture. He's looking fresh.
The drip.
fresh.
Oh, no more than Sunny Pony.
At this point, I need to talk to my lawyers. I need to get a restraining order. I'll take you to court.
First, shout out to Ishmael Mate. Congrats on your marriage. Congrats. Tomorrow we'll be there to wrap it all up. And I'll give you guys the very best of my dancing moves. Those who have seen it have seen it.
Better behave yourself over the young man.
Are they better than the moves of Fentio Tahiri and only to meet James Bond?
Charlie, we need to drop out of those videos out of this.
He sent me a picture of at the reception, and in the picture, so the photographer took a picture of me, looking at Fent, and when I looked at the picture, I even felt sad. So I was just, then I had crouched over, my head was bent down in a pose of disappointment.
See,
I could not believe what I was watching.
Better make us proud.
Sure, I'll do that.
Thank you very much.
My second shout out goes to a loyal listener of the show, Alhaji Rahman Kubaja, RK.
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah, he loves the show to the max.
Oh, Charlie.
I think now he will move to a shake because of the love for Manchester United.
So he's now Sheikh. Because now all my United fans
are
are
Sheikh,
called Sheikh. Sheikh Ni Abba.
I have to find a better way of rhyming my name with the Sheikh's name. I'll come back with that name next week.
So shout out to
birthday
Rahman
wish.
Kubaja.
Let me just give
go ahead.
one shout out to Esmond from Renault Ghana. Esmond and the Renault Ghana. You know me, I drive a Renault.
Thank you.
Those are my people. So
That's a
shout
rich
out to
man's
them.
car, a rich
Don't do that. Don't
You
do
be rich
that.
man. You be rich man. You be
My
rich
father is a rich man. That's why I'm still living in his house, please.
Happy birthday to Mrs. Bruce Kujo. Mrs. Bruce Kujo. She's the wife of Travel Matters. You know Travel Matters?
Yeah.
Ivan Bruce Kujo. That is his wife. And today
They have a place at Kokomlemle, right?
Yeah, Kokomlemle, yeah. Today happens to be her birthday. And it's from her daughter, Whitney, who is a student at Ghana Christian International High School. One of my very intelligent girls.
Oh, Charlie.
And she says, I
Shout out.
should tell her mom that mom is from your daughter, Whitney. Whitney says, happy birthday. And that, these were her words. So, young lady, tell daddy that I say today he should take you out and do the do.
Daddy, take your sweet girl out.
Your sweet
Take her out.
birthday girl,
Oh, Charlie.
Mrs. Bruce Kujo.
And do the do.
Thank your daughter, Whitney.
Thank you very much. And that's it from us here. My name is Benjamin Iketia. Head coach Christopher Nimley, Evans Ofochu Manso Pichichi, Susu Graham, and Nathan Kwao. Thank you very much for your text messages. We'll leave you with a Premier League preview show. My name is Benjamin Iketia, so proudly brought to us by Betway. Enjoy the preview show and keep that dial right here.